One of the cool things, and this is our new social media guy, Santino, is in the back. Hey, Santino. Put this thing we got and put up. It was like a treasure map, and he had it. How'd you do it? With wax. Yep. Sealed it and gave it to all the kids, and it was just really good. The process that we were going to go through for the whole weekend, on game day, how we were going to play the game. I was really proud of the guys that they took it, they read it. We had preached it all week, and the kids did an unbelievable job of following through and just going 1-0. That was the whole focus. Obviously, that's the focus going on this week, against a good UConn team. But one of my favorite moments of the entire game. So we win the game's over. Friday before we left, I shared a story with the team about one of my closest friends. His name is Matt Lester. So I showed a picture of Matt when he was a freshman in college. I was a junior. He was my backup. So he goes, plays at Western Carolina, ends up transferring to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, very prestigious academic university. Got a degree in business from the University of North Carolina, which is awesome. Then he went to the University of South Carolina and got a law degree. Then he's gone on, he's been married, he's got a beautiful wife, he's got 2 beautiful twin daughters. He's practicing real estate law in Charlotte. All of those things are impressive in and of themselves. Then the next slide I turned on was a picture of me, Matt, my wife, his 2 daughters, after a game at Mississippi State a couple of years ago. Matt's in a wheelchair. Matt's been a quadriplegic since his freshman year of college. He got in a car accident. So after this tragic event happened to him, he still was able to fight, get a law degree, get a business degree from the University of North Carolina, raise 2 beautiful daughters, have a loving marriage, be successful in his career. After what a lot of people wouldn't be able to handle, he took it in stride. He's one of the most positive people I've ever been around. He motivates me daily because of what he goes through and how he handles everything in his life. But my favorite part of the reason I tell the story, we had just won a college football game, which is hard to do against a good opponent on the road in a tough environment. And the game ends, and I see Matt, and I go to the sideline, and I hug him outside the tunnel. All of our players, to a man, of their own accord, stopped and shook Matt's hand. I didn't tell them to, I didn't ask them to, but they just the kind of kids that we have, the character, the good people, the respect they have for someone else that can accomplish some things after what a lot of people would consider to be a tragic event. Matt doesn't. Our kids recognized it, and that just touched me, and I just want to share that with you just to let you know a little bit of a glimpse of how special these kids are. I say all the time, it's an honor to coach them, but just moments like that really show the content of character that our kids had. Special performances in the game, I thought our running backs did a really good job. Offensive line opened some good holes, but they trusted it and hit it. Rock was banged up, so he didn't get a lot of touches. I appreciate how hard he fought to even play in that game at all. What he went through with the rehab and what he fought and scratched to try to give something to this team was amazing. I thought David Hood did a great job running the ball for us. We had to play nitro. Rob Ricciarvato played a lot of tailback for us. Sharver played a little bit of tailback, but Sharver's our fullback. He's one of the best fullbacks in college football. But Nitro played some tailback for us. Trayvon played some tailback for us as well. I thought they did a really good job, and my hat's off to the offensive linemen as well. And Jake Robinson, we had one of our other tight ends, Chris Myrick, got banged up in pregame warm-ups. You guys see as we get after pregame warm-ups. He got banged up. Jake came in and played at a high level for us, which was good to see. And then I thought our D-line, when you're playing against an explosive offense, a tempo offense, we had 10 to 11 guys play in that game on a minimum of 20 plays. There's not a lot of teams in college football that have that kind of depth and can roll guys in and there not be a drop-off. And I think when we first released the above-the-line depth chart, people were really skeptical about it. That's why. That's why we do it. For times like this, when every kid that comes in and plays along our defensive line, when every running back ever comes in, they're expected to play at a high level and to play as starters. That's why we do it. And that's been very successful for our linebackers. I think we had 6 play minimum of 20 plays as well. So in a tempo league against a tempo offense, you've got to be able to roll guys in. Those guys play at a high level and play like starters. I think they did do that. Scout team players of the week. At running back, Johnny Forrest did a great job for us. He's in the 2 deep on a lot of special teams. We really think highly of him. The job that he does for us on defense with George Reed, a freshman safety. He's gotten better every single week. He's got a bright future for us. Then our special teams player of the week was Audley Isaacs. And just his motor, his energy. A lot of times the things that these kids do, they make Saturdays even easier for us because they go so hard in practice. And once we get to the game, it's, sometimes was harder against the scout team. That's the way we want it to be in this program. The kid that will wear number 1 this week, and this has nothing to do with production, even though he is highly productive. Okay? Makes a lot of plays for us. Everybody recognizes him for the special plays that he's made all year. But it's what he does, his work ethic every day in practice. We wear a catapult system which measures the kid's effort, the distance traveled, their workload, their top speed, the number of times they hit their top speed every single day of practice. Since preseason camp, he's been one of the top 3 in every single category on a daily basis. So the kid that's going to wear number 1 for us this week is Isaiah Wright. He's had a really good season for us. He's been really productive, but the production is because of how much effort, how much preparation he puts in on a daily basis and a weekly basis. So it's no shock. If you go hard every single day of practice, you give your all for the betterment of the team. When game time comes, there's going to be good things that happen for you. And so he's just a testament to that. Very, very proud of him, and how he's playing for us and how he prepares and everything that he does. And then obviously Saturday's homecoming. One of my favorite things about this place is the student body, the band, our fans. It's just a special environment, the way that the kids are into it, the band is into it. Sometimes on the road, I tell Rich this all the time, where's the band going to be, where's the band going to sit? And I miss them when they're not there because I think they're incredible. I've been around a lot of good places with a lot of good bands. I think the Temple University band is one of the best in college football. So I'm glad we get to play, and they're going to be there, and they're going to be playing, and they're going to be providing positive energy for us. But they're just a special group. I think that's it. Any questions?
Rich, over the last couple of games, Jeff, I'm sorry, over the last couple of
Rich,
now I need I apologize there. Over the last game and a half, we've seen improvement in the run game. Do you see offense how this is building on and can turn up in a positive direction?
Absolutely. We've been working on it. The kids take pride in it. We do team run every single day, good on good. And we load the box, and we're asking them to run into some hard looks. And then when I'm down there, I'm running the defensive scout team, and we're trying to do everything we can to create tackles for loss and to make it hard on our offensive line, our running backs, and our tight ends. And they just keep getting better every single week. And just been really proud of Coach Weezy's done a really good job. Coach Foley with the tight ends, and Coach Lucas with the running backs. They just keep getting better and better and better. And that's the plan we want to continue to do.
You wound up scoring 24 unanswered in the second quarter, but what was the reasoning behind those 2 timeouts in the first quarter?
Yeah, there was a couple personnel issues. There was one that we had some personnel out there, and they switched personnel, and then we tried to, and we had to bang the timeout. So just some things we obviously got to get cleaned up, but those are just some mechanical errors we got to get corrected.
Where's
Like pain management perspective, but where's he right in terms of just trying to get himself healthy?
Yeah, he's working and fighting every day. He lives in the training, and he always has. He's a kid that just religiously takes care of his body, and playing running back at this level, you're going to get hit a lot, and so he's just trying to make sure that he's taking care of his body and putting him in a position to play because he wants to play. He's one of the most competitive kids that I've ever been around, and so he wants to be out there with his teammates. But we have plans in place, different things that we do, and different things that we've been working with different guys, just in case Rock isn't able to go. We're open and pulling for him to be ready for Saturday.
What can you take?
Do anything in practice this week?
Jeff, can you talk about Trayvon Williams has worked really hard to get on the field,
Right.
and he's been a big part of the running.
Absolutely, and the thing that we talk about all the time, is how you add value to the organization. That's coaches, that's staff, that's people in the equipment room, training room, our welcomes, our scholarship kids. What are you doing to add value to the organization? I think Trayvon does an unbelievable job as a receiver. That's where he's been most of his career, really most of the spring. But he also knows every single run scheme that we do from the backfield from run back position. So the more things that you can do within the organization, the more value you have. Trayvon is one of our starting punt return team. He's one of our backup kickoff returners. So he has value, and just whenever he gets a chance, we're plugging him in there. And whenever he gets in there, he lays the wood. He's 5'9" on a good day, 175 on a great day. But the way he runs and how physical he is, he's just a fun kid to coach and just a pleasure to have on the team. So we're just trying to find ways to get him involved, and he makes himself very valuable to us that way.
What can you take away from last week as you head into play UConn?
Just we got to play one play at a time. That was the whole thing. We go 1-0 every single week, and that's the big deal. We've got a good opponent, in our division, in our conference, right off the road, and they're going to come in here and they're going to play at a high level. The teams that they play some really good teams, and they play them really well. And so we understand that we're going to get their A game, and we're going to try to give them our very best. And every single week, every single practice, every single game, try to improve in every single phase of what we do with this football team.
Logan made an early red zone mistake for the second week in a row.
Sure.
How much of a crossroads moment was that for him to see how he responded?
Yeah, that was huge, and I grabbed him right after he did it and had a nice conversation with him. But I thought he responded very well, and came back in there and was lighting it up in the second half. And a lot of kids, and it's across the country, a lot of kids will make that same mistake twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row, and then fold or, fall off the cliff. I was very proud of Logan. He made a mistake. He corrected. Nobody got down on him. Everybody stayed with him. And then he comes out and lights up the second half, really lights up the rest of the game. So really proud to see his composure. Obviously, we want to get those things corrected. He understands that. But I think, seeing his poise and be able to recover, because that's hard to do. On that stage, you're on ESPN. If you make that big of a mistake down in the red zone. But I thought everybody recovered. Nobody panicked. Because the whole thing was about the next play. If that play had been all that mattered in the whole game, then we would have been in trouble. But every single play had a life of its own. I think that's why we were able to recover as a team, and so was Logan.
How did you kind of coach him through him taking the sack and then that red zone interception? Because I know Frank's got the chance, was kind of open in preseason. As a coach, how do you manage that? How close are you to maybe taking him out, and how balanced out, keeping him positive and everything? How do you kind of manage that with him over the last?
Yeah, that's just the art of it. Logan is an emotional kid. He wants to be great. Whenever he makes a mistake, you just got to coach him through it, make sure he knows that you love him, and you're there for him. Now, obviously, you can't have a lot of them, but we have. I think he understands where he is and what he needs to do, and not let that happen, especially when we're on the, in the chance to score.
Vintel has 7 catches in the last 4 games. What do you need to do to get him going more?
Yeah, we're trying. There was a couple of times that Vintel was out there. If you just watch the tape, he's open, but the read is telling the quarterback to go to the other side. There was one we ran a stutter. We actually hit Adonis down on the other sideline, but he was 7 yards past the kid. But the read said go here, and so that's where we went. So his catches will come. The big thing with him, and he's doing a good job. Don't get frustrated. Keep working as hard as you are. The ball's going to come, and just keep winning your one-on-one battles, and the ball will be there. And so we're trying to find different ways to be creative to get him the ball, but a lot of times the coverage and the rotation dictates where to go with the football. And so it's not always going to be, that way.
With Nitro and Sharga, I know Nick's had issues with his knee in the past, but there's an issue of trying to get Nitro started and then taking some of the workload off of Nick. He could keep the pressure.
Nitro came in to tell that.
Okay.
Nick Sharga's our fullback. Right. He's one of the best fullbacks in college football. He's actually one of the best kickoff coverage guys in college football. And this is a stat that I don't know if a lot of people know about. He's one of the top 10 tacklers in college football on kickoff coverage. So he's special. What he does for us on punt team, the things that we do, we're getting him more involved. But just, he is a special player. Nitro came in and tell that. Nitro didn't come in and take snaps away from Shark at fullback. So just to make that clear. I was very proud of Nitro to come in and had to carry me. There's been a couple of games that Nitro's had some really good carries for us and moved the chains. And you know that the second to the last drive, we handed the ball to Nick 3 straight plays to get a first down, keep the clock moving, then we get a 3 and out, and then come back in. One of my favorite parts of the entire game, the last defensive play, we got a sack. There was 7 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock. That's the last time the defense touched the field. That was my favorite part of the entire football game. Our offense was able to take 7.5 minutes and just grind out the clock. And that's special to me. And then at the end, you know, we could have scored, but just, you know, I love college football. I respect the other team. I respect the other coaches. I didn't think that was the right thing to do, so we took a knee. And, you know.
Geoff, what is your theory on the improvement of the defense? Is it just a matter of young players getting reps and, you know, recognizing things?
I think so. And a lot of things that we do, there's a lot of checks, either blitz checks or stunt checks. And early on in the season, just young linebackers and young kids in general in a tempo environment aren't able to get those little things done. And then you misfit some runs, and then you have some big plays that happen, just like happened at Notre Dame. They've settled down, gotten better, gotten more confident, and we're able to play 6 linebackers, we're able to play 11 defensive linemen, and they play at a really high level. Last Saturday, we were down to 3 corners, and that's not easy to do in a tempo environment. And I thought those guys played really, really well. But I just think every single week we just try to get better at every single thing that we do. And they're just getting more comfortable and are able to execute what we're asking them to execute.
What are some of the challenges that UConn presents this week?
Well, I mean, just formationally, so I've gone against this offense for the last 6 years in the SEC. And really, when I was at FIU in the Sun Belt 7 years ago, we faced this offense at Arkansas State. And so, you know, it's a very difficult offense. They go tempo. It's a ton of formation to the sideline. It's a ton of funky formations to get you out leverage. You know, they do all kinds of motions and shifts to mess with your eyes. And so we just got to be really clean with all of our fits and all of our keys, because all they're doing is expecting you to run with emotion, get your eyes in the wrong place, and then they hit you back over here. So we got to be very disciplined. We got to leverage the football. But I think there's a lot of challenges, you know, what they present on offense. I think Rhett Lashley is a great offensive coordinator. He's one of my friends as well. I think he does a great job calling a game and a great experience in this offense. And then defensively, you know, Coach Eds was made his, you know, career as one of the top defensive coordinators in college football. So they have a big challenge ahead, or we have a big challenge ahead of us. They're very multiple in defense, and it's a unique front with stunts and blitzes from different places and different angles that we've seen this year. So we've been working really hard to get those things down. So
yesterday on the conference call, you said delve on over some you watched film with him, going over some of the film you watched, like on your former part. What players did you watch? Like on film?
Yeah, so he's with, you know, Marcus May, who's now starting for the Jets, had his first interception yesterday. Keanu Neal, who's starting safety for the Falcons, and just, you know, a lot of the guys that I've been blessed to coach. We watch those films, and we watch NFL films because our defense is very similar to what they run with the Falcons, what they run with the Seahawks, and what they run with the Cardinals. So we'll watch that tape over the summer, let them see the things that we're doing from our scheme that they're working in the NFL. You know, so everything that we do, we try to do it as an NFL base, so that once they get to the next level, the words, the schemes, the terminologies, the leverages are what they played in college, so that they're able to hang around longer, make the team, all those kind of things.
And what are some of those like techniques, I guess, that you were watching, some of the defensive backs?
Yes, we'll watch all of our drill tapes, and I've got a whole catalog of my last 6 years of DB drill tapes, so we'll watch all of those. And I do that when the freshmen get here too. I'll take my Vernon Hargrave, say Keanu Neal, and Jalen Tabor, and Quincy Wilson. We'll watch all of them do an individual, because these kids aspire, you know, to be at that level. And those are some of the best DBs, you know, in college football for the last 6 years. Darius Slay, we watched tape on Darius from when he was with me, Mississippi State. And John Banks, who's now playing for the Texans, he won the Thorpe Award for us 5 years ago. So watch tape of those guys for our longer corners like Derek Thomas, and so they can see, you know, here's what we do. Here's guys in the past that have done it. you're in the same scheme, in the same system, and you have these similar height, speed, length, whatever it is, and this is how these guys have been successful, this is how you'll be successful.
It's just like a catalog, it's like a stack of DVDs, essentially, right?
I don't know if we have DVDs, we have DVDs, the other, it's all with the computer, and they have access to it on their iPads too.
Speaking of Derek Thomas, I know you thought he had a real chance to play
I did.
last week. He came to travel.
Yeah, he traveled, he tried. Yeah, and he was out there today, you know, so he's fighting. The thing I'm really proud of Derek. 3 months ago, in this similar situation, I don't know if he would be this far along in the rehab. It's just something that's clicked inside of him, that he's really getting closer and closer and closer. Just his maturity level, how important this is to him, how important his teammates are to him. One of my favorite things about Derek Thomas, so we give out juice points and all those things. The top 3 juice points that get a t-shirt and all that, Derek Thomas was one of the kids that got one this weekend, and here's why. Derek has been starting corner for the last 2 weeks. Really good corner. He couldn't play. Kymir Brown had to play a ton. Well, the reps that Kymir Brown wasn't in the game, Derek Thomas was standing right next to Kymir, and he was talking about everything that was happening to Mike Jones and everything that was happening to Wood Crump. They would get the signals. We have like 7 different signalers. He knew which one was live. He would get the signal, and he would talk to Kymir, and they would talk about what was happening to Mike and Lynn. That's special. That doesn't happen in a lot of places. And just the maturity of Derek to make sure that Kymir was mentally engaged, so that when Kymir went in, Kymir played, I think, 24 snaps. When Kymir went in, Kymir was able to, play at a high level. Because if you're a young kid and you're standing on the sidelines, you remember what it was like being in Little League. You start chasing butterflies and looking at rainbows and stuff like that. Kymir didn't do that. Derek Thomas didn't let him do that. He stayed focused. He stayed engaged. Nobody asked Derek Thomas to do that. Derek Thomas took it upon himself to help Kymir so that Kymir could get into the game and perform. I think that kind of stuff is special. I don't think a lot of people know, all those kind of things happen. When those things do happen, they're special, and they make a difference in the game, and they make a difference in a program.
How would you assess how your team has looked through the first 6 games of the season?
I think we've gotten better every single week. And I've said it, even though a lot of people didn't believe, I said, this is a good football team. We're really, really close to breaking through. And, I think you kind of saw glimpses of it, and then we just got to continue to just play one play at a time, get better every single day at practice, have attention to detail, go hard, play with great effort, practice with great effort. And the thing I told them today, out there in this world, there's always somebody trying to get what you want. They're out there. Mm-hmm. If you take a day off, or you slack off, or you don't have attention to detail, or you're not focused, or you don't work hard, one day you're going to meet. If they've outworked you, then they're going to get what you want. But if you go every single day, you work as hard as you can go, and have attention to detail, try to improve every single day, when you guys meet, you have enhanced your opportunity, and you have given you a chance to be successful. So that was kind of the message at the end of the practice today.
Geoff, where's Cody Molly in the mix with the defensive backs?
Yeah, he's banged up. Yeah, he's a great kid. He wants to be out there. We want him to be out there, but he has been banged up. He's been banged up for a while. He's out there trying to get rehab and trying. I think it's really killing him because he loves this team. He loves his teammates. And his dad was a great player here. His dad is really close with a lot of our players. So it's a special family, and he's a special kid. So we're trying everything we can to get him healthy and to do what's right for him so that he can have success in this program once he gets healthy.
As this young defense develops, how's the pressure getting off the edge from Jacob Martin, Quincy Roche helping?
Yeah, it's been huge. They've been generating a lot of pass rush. But the person, I'm sorry I didn't mention this earlier, the person who made a lot of things happen on Saturday was Dan Archibald. We have some elite edge rushers. Sharif is an elite edge rusher. Jacob is. Quincy, I think Dana Levine is developing into one. But the push that Dan Archibald gave us on Saturday, the last sack of the day, the last play was 7 minutes and 38 seconds left. It was Dan Archibald. He essentially took on 3 blockers. He would not be denied and just destroyed the entire backfield. And Jacob came around and got the sack. And it was a great sack. But Dan forced it to where he had one-on-one protection. And just the unselfishness of kids like Dan Archibald. I think he had 3 legitimate pressures in the game. He was a dynamic player on the inside as well. So, but yeah, the edge rushers have been great. But the things that Freddie and Michael Dogby, those inside guys have been doing, Julian Taylor has been impressive.
That's two for
Geoff,
Coach.
you were talking about some great defensive backs. Like last week, you mentioned Mike Jones. Like if he'd have came out last year, he'd have been like a mid-level.
Right.
What level is he playing at now?
Yeah, I think he's playing at a really high level. I think he's a dynamic kickoff returner too. He just has a natural feel for kickoff returns. And we're this close on the kickoff returns too. So we're getting closer every single day. But I've been really proud of him. He doesn't take a day off. He tries to get better every single day. He again takes guys like Kymir Brown and works with them. But he's been really special for us. I've been really proud of him. We do the same drills that we did with Vernon Hargreaves and we did with Quincy Wilson, Tease Tate, and those guys. And Mike Jones and Champ and those guys, Archerell. There are times that it looks, if I put them in a different jersey or a different whatever, they would look exactly like those guys. So I've been really proud of how they've worked and how they've adapted to all the football drills that we do. That's going to help them at the next level and obviously help them, on Saturdays here for us as well.
What do we see out of Randall Jones and maybe even Freddie? Because you've got three really experienced guys, and including Broderick, but Randall looks like he's starting to get more reps. Even Freddie, we're kind of getting a look at like maybe that next generation of receivers are coming through. Why with Randall?
Why they're getting more reps.
Special teams.
Yes. Okay. Randall Jones, Freddie Johnson. For 2 weeks, I thought our punter play and punt team was average to maybe above average. But we do a unique punt scheme that's really heavy on protection. And when you do that, you're going to protect a punter like Alex who can really boom the ball. If you don't have elite gunners, then you're going to struggle. We put Freddie and we put Randall as our gunners, and they've been unbelievable. They've been making plays. They've been down in punts. They've been forcing fair catches. They've got their own little hand signal because they take pride in it. And we talk about the development of a player all the time. In this program, the development of a player starts with special teams. If you're not playing on special teams, you're not going to play on offense and defense. And Randall and Freddie are the epitome of that. They started getting reps on kickoff. They started getting reps on punt. They played at a high level. Well, now your offensive reps can increase because you've proven that you're going to give of yourself for the betterment of the team. They've done that, and they are playing at a ridiculously high level on special teams. And then your chances are going to come on offense, and then you're going to make the most out of those. I think Randall had over 40 yards receiving, and so they're contributing. They're adding value to the organization. So I've been really proud of those guys. I think three games ago is when they started, 3 or 4 games ago, and they've just developed and gotten better every single week. We'll watch the special. We watch every single. What a lot of teams do is our special teams meeting. Quarterbacks, O-line, D-line, they stay in their little meetings. Whenever we do special teams, the entire team is in there watching. That's how important it is. And they take pride in it. I don't know if you guys were out there this morning, but we do a loose predator and prey drill and an engaged predator and prey drill. And while those two drills are going, we put the O-line and D-line in the middle and just get it unbelievably hyped because we're competing and we're doing special teams drills and doing them at a high level.
I know there's a ton of talent down there, but like when you were down in Florida and maybe you're looking more at defensive guys, were Freddie and Randall like on your radar at all? Do you come back and look at film and say, I've never seen this kid or this school or this game? And I know you watch a ton of film, and there were a ton of guys down there, but do you remember at all seeing them, like any recollection, saying, I remember this kid, hearing about this kid, and anything like that?
So when I was defense coordinator, I was worried about the defense. Getting elite defensive players, and now as the head coach, we're trying to stack this roster with elite players across the board. So.
Okay.
Thank you guys.